So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sahaj Meditation. And my name is Ashish. For those of you who are joining for the first time, and hope you are all keeping safe and sound in the current situation. So, let's get started. For those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome. For those who are joining, who have been attending these sessions in the past, welcome again. What we will do over the next 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes maybe, is just go through, as we always do, the subtle system and the correlations of these subtle systems, the insights that we have been trying to provide over the past 7 weeks now almost. And then of course we will go into the meditation, which is the real experience, and why everybody gathers here every Friday. And or maybe of course we may be doing another Surge online sessions as well. So let's get started. uh, Sahaj meditation basically is a very simple, straightforward way of getting into a state of meditation. As all of you know, it refers to the awakening of an energy which resides within each one of us at the base of our vertebral column, called as the os sacrum or the sacrum bone. We have seen that before. There are 7 energy centers within us, one below the os sacrum and then 6 above it. And the energy essentially rises above through these 6 energy centers through what we call the central channel, and it establishes a connectivity with a kind of an all-pervading energy around us, if you will. We have also 3 energy channels. So as we said, we have a central energy channel. We have one on the right side, which we call the side of our action. And then one on the left side, we refer to this as the side of our desire, or that represents the power of our desire. And it is through these 3 energy systems that we try to meditate. But essentially, the objective of meditation, if you will, of Sahaj meditation, is to attempt to raise this energy within us through the 6 energy centers, and to establish a state of meditation, or a state of that peace or calm within us. We also call it self-realization. So with that, what we have been doing over the past 6 or so weeks now is to try to go one individual energy center at a time and try to get more information about it. Also, as you know, when this happens within us, this state of awakening of this inner energy, through the palms, through the tips of our fingers of our palms, we can potentially feel maybe a cool breeze coming through. That is essentially because the system is quote unquote awakened. You can feel that energy around you coming through the tips of your fingers. You can also feel an energy maybe coming from the crown of your head, like a cool breeze. So those are the kind of objective manifestations of this particular happening, that is the awakening of this energy within us. And Sahaj meditation, therefore, is premised, as we like to say every time we meet, is based on objective evaluation of your own self. There is not a certification program. We basically don't provide any kind of written documentation that you have attended so many courses and now you are you are experienced in Sahaj meditation. It is essentially about feeling that energy within yourself and for yourself. We have also covered that these energy centers refer to in the center. Overall, this represents or is represented in the human body through the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is the nervous system that does not require volitional control. Say, for example, if I have to lift my right arm, I can raise my right arm. If I have to put my left arm down, I put it down. This is under volitional control. I cannot do the same with my heartbeat, right? I'd say, okay, I cannot tell my heart right now, if you're beating at 72 minutes per minute, beats per minute, go up to 85. That can't be done unless I start running, I do some exercise, and then my heart rate will go up. That control is autonomic. That is under the governance of what is called as the autonomic nervous system. So these energy channels are in the gross system represented by the autonomic nervous system. So in the central, we have the parasympathetic nervous system, and the right and the left represent to the right and left components of the autonomic nervous system. So this is what we have covered sort of in previous classes. We have seen that the first energy center called the Mooladhara Chakra represents the sort of the coccygeal plexus, the Kundalini energy within us, that it resides in the os sacrum bone. We just discussed the human autonomic nervous system, the three energy channels sort of being represented in the gross by the, in the center, this is the spinal cord, but within that you have the, you kind of on the other side, the vagal nerves, which represent the parasympathetic, and then you have the sympathetic chain, ganglia, which represent the right and left sympathetic nervous systems. The second energy center is the Swadishthan chakra, that is represented by the pelvic plexus. The third energy center represents called the Nabhi or the Manipura chakra, is represented by the celiac or the solar plexus. And as we have gone along, we have also seen that these energy centers have their own qualities. So say, for example, the third energy center refers to generosity or evolution, balance, righteousness, satisfaction. These are qualities that kind of represent the emotional or the spiritual qualities within that are representative of that particular energy center within us, and then they manifest slowly as the energy sort of manifests itself. So likewise, we also took at so-called the void area, which is represented here in this gap, as we discussed, between the sacral and the cranial outflow. This is the void area center, and it represents again the same kind of qualities as the third energy center. Then we took a look at the heart chakra or the Anahata chakra. Those are the qualities that it represents, and it is represented in the gross by the cardiac plexus, which essentially controls a major part of the heartbeat, or what causes the heartbeat, the cardiac impulse. It innervates basically the heart, and the and forms basically the mechanism by which an impulse is generated and the heart actually beats. Then we took a look at the Vishuddhi Chakra, which is the fifth energy center. Its principal manifestation being collectivity and harmony. It gives us a sense of collective consciousness. It provides harmony in terms of our communication and our behavior. And it is represented by the cervical plexus. And then today we are going to, we're going to continue this journey and take a very quick look at the Agnya Chakra. The Agnya Chakra is an extremely, extremely important energy center. Just as we keep on saying this every time, every energy center is important. So the Agnya Chakra basically is located here. This is the Agnya Chakra. This is the sixth energy center. We have been through this journey over the past few weeks. And this time we are going to take a look at the Agnya Chakra. So this is an energy center with sort of two aspects to it, sort of the front and the back, as we call them. And the quality that this energy center represents is that of forgiveness, and it also helps us to get into a state of thoughtless awareness. So forgiveness is critical. If those of you who are doing this for a while now, remember that we say this affirmation here when we say, I forgive everyone, including myself, and that is to enable the energy to flow through that center. Forgiveness is critical. We know through some of our so-called spiritual sort of teachings that it is one way to sort of elevate oneself. To be able to forgive takes far more largeness or magnanimity or strength, if you will, than to inflict punishment. Inflicting punishment, reacting to someone, if somebody says something unkind to you, then kind of returning that or retorting is kind of human. It's kind of built inside us. It's almost Darwinian in terms of our evolutionary instincts. But to be able to forgive is something that is supra-evolutionary. It is supra-Darwinian, if you will. It elevates us to a higher state. So also thoughtless awareness is another quality that that state. It's not really a quality. Thoughtless awareness is a state that is possible when this energy rises through this sixth energy center. What happens is it transcends the ego, which is this yellow colored balloon here, and the superego, which is the left colored blue colored balloon here on this side. And because most of our thoughts are either driven by our conditionings, which is on the left side, also called the side of our desire, or our ego. Or ego essentially meaning uh, the need to sort of prove ourselves, or to justify ourselves, justify our existence, whichever way we want to call it. That is basically the origin of all thought, whether it is professional, whether it is personal, whether it is emotional. Thought basically is rooted in one of these two broad domains of the human psyche, if you will. When the inner energy, when this energy, which we call the kundalini energy, rises through this center, a very important event happens. And that is, you are able, because your attention rises with the inner energy, the thought process that kind of is ongoing spontaneously simmers down. And the word spontaneous is important. So it's not that we say you have to stop thinking. A point comes when your thinking itself kind of mellows, and at one point it can actually completely stop and you can be aware of it. That is why it's called thoughtless awareness. So that's a state that is enabled only when the energy rises through this inner energy center. So the Agnya Chakra, this energy center, is exquisitely important, particularly in modern times. It also is the most common center that quote unquote gets caught up uh, when we due to our modern existence as well. But we'll come to that through the next series, maybe when we get to it, once we are past the current series of just understanding what is the basic system. So that's that. It is represented in the normal human anatomy by what is called as the optic chiasma. So you can see there is a crossover here between the right and the left at this point. That is at a subtle level. At the gross level, it is represented. So to be sure, again, optic chiasma is not the Agnya Chakra. Optic chiasma is just the representation, if you will, at a gross level of what exists at the subtle level. So how is it formed? Essentially, these are the two eyeballs. This is looking at the brain, the base of the brain, if you will, from the bottom, as though you are looking at it from below upwards. And that is how you can see these two are these eyeballs. And these are the optic nerves that start from each one of the eyes, and then they cross over and they go over to the other side. And that is why actually the right, what you perceive or what we perceive through our right eye is actually being interpreted by the left part of our brain on the back side here, and what we perceive through the left eye is actually perceived by the right side of our brain on this side. So that is because this crossing over happens, and that is called as the optic chiasma. So that is at the gross level. And with that, we will stop in terms of the didactic sort of part of this. Hopefully you find that useful. Next time we will cover the final energy center, the seventh energy center. And then after that, we will start looking at the what causes some of the problems of these energy centers. And once again, we will start from the first energy center and work our way up. So this is sort of how we will go about doing it. This first round, if you will, was just to try to establish the basic parameters, the basic understanding of what the subtle system is about. So I'll stop there. And as always, we will do two things. We will take a quick look at two videos. The first video is an animation of what Sahaja meditation actually, how it operates. And then the second animation will show us, as always, what are the affirmations that we will have to go through as we meditate. So over to you, Mariana.
The Kundalini energy is a primordial energy the source of all energy. Energy flows throughout your body via 3 main vertical energy channels, or nadis, flowing through 7 primary energy centers, or chakras, which are located at the sites of your main nerve plexuses, or networks of interlaced nerves. The energy rises up through your spinal column, flowing upward through the 6 energy centers above the sacrum bone. The second energy center, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 6th, and finally, the 7th crown energy center. As the subtle energy pierces through the top of your head, it unites your individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. To begin, sit comfortably on a chair or on the ground, with your back straight and your hands on your lap, palms up. Close your eyes and relax. Then repeat each of the following affirmations until you feel peaceful and ready to move on. Ideally, you'll spend about 30 seconds on each of the affirmations, saying them slowly, genuinely feeling the desire and meaning they represent. First, place your right palm over your heart and quietly say, either to yourself or aloud, "Am I the Spirit?" Next, place your right palm on your lower left side, just above your hip, and say, "I want to have pure knowledge." Move your right palm up until it's just below your ribcage and say, "I am my own master." Place your right palm over your heart and say, "I am the Spirit." Place your right palm on your left shoulder where it meets your neck and say, "I am not guilty." In this moment, it's important to leave behind any regrets or feelings of guilt you've been holding on to throughout your life. Place your right palm across your forehead, lower your head slightly, and say, "I forgive everyone, including myself." In this moment, you must forgive, forget, and let go of painful events that have troubled you in the past. Finally, put your right palm on the crown of your head, with the center of your palm maintaining firm contact with your head. Now, rotate your hand slowly in a clockwise direction, and as you rotate your hand, say, "Please let me have my self-realization." Sit quietly for approximately 5 to 10 minutes, without trying, without effort. Notice the silence. Notice how your thoughts have calmed. If a thought does pop into your mind, simply let it rise and fall away. Should you find it difficult to raise your inner energy alone, help is always available on this website.
Right. So now let's get started. Uh, you know what's to be done. I will repeat all the affirmations as we go through them. So let's actually get started with the process of with the meditation session per se. So as you saw, both hands in our laps, finger palms facing upwards. Close our eyes. Let's just take a couple of deep breaths and let it go. Just take a deep breath, hold it, and let it go. One more time. Now let's place our right hand on the heart, and we ask a question 3 times. Am I the Spirit? Very quietly. Now let's place our hand always the right hand, just above our hip, on the left side of the stomach, of the abdomen actually, as we say, where we wear, let's say, the belt, around at that level. Now, this is the affirmation for the second energy center. And the affirmation is, I want to experience pure knowledge. As we know, this energy center has 6 aspects to it. So we say it 6 times. Once again, very calmly and slowly. A very strong desire. I want to experience pure knowledge. Now let's place our hand just above, below the last rib, if you will, on the upper part of the abdomen, always on the left side. And we say the affirmation here 10 times because we know this has 10 aspects to it. The third energy center, the Nabhi or the Manipura chakra. And here we say, I want to be my own master. It's the principle of the master, represented in the void, which also we have seen a couple of sessions ago. 10 times, I want to be my own master. Let's place our hand on the heart now. And we say 12 times very calmly, I am the pure spirit. I am the pure spirit. Now let us raise our hand at the level of the angle of neck and shoulder. Turn our head slightly to the right side, and we say, for the fifth energy center, the Vishuddhi Chakra, I am not guilty. Let's try to say that 16 times. As we saw last time, this energy center has 16 aspects to it. Now, let's place our hand across our forehead, bend our head forward just a bit, and as we just saw for the sixth energy center, its quality, the primordial quality is forgiveness. That of forgiveness, we say, I forgive everyone, including myself. We say that 3 times because it is at this point that the three great energy channels meet each other and they cross over. So we say 3 times, I forgive everyone, including myself. Now let's place our hand on the crown of our head. The center of our palm should be touching the crown. Apply gentle pressure. Keep our head bent forward and slowly start moving our hand in a clockwise fashion, keeping the palm pressed on our crown. And now we say the most important affirmation. I want to experience my self-realization. Let's say that 7 times. I want to experience my self-realization. Let us bring our hand down in our lap. Let's place now again. So both hands will be in our lap, palms facing upwards. Eyes are closed. Let's try to keep our attention on the crown if we can, where we had just placed our hand, and continue to meditate. We'll play some soft music just so that it helps us. Do not engage with your thoughts to the extent that you can. If some thoughts keep on intruding, just say, I forgive, and try to keep the attention back on the crown. So that's how we continue to be in the state of meditation. We'll sit in this fashion for sometime. Just slowly open our eyes. Let's see. Let's place our hand a little above, couple of inches on top of our head. See if you can feel a cool breeze. Could even be a warm breeze, preferably cool. Also try from the left hand. As we said, Sahaj meditation is all about experiencing it for yourself and verifying it. Hopefully, it's also possible maybe some of you felt a cool breeze through the tips of your fingers. So, usually at this point, we take maybe any questions you may have and try to answer them before we start a second short meditation session. So if you have them, please type them in the chat box and we'll do our best to respond. You also have to, if you have missed any of the previous sessions, they're available on the YouTube channel should you wish to follow. We'll wait for a couple more minutes to see if any questions come in. If not, we will proceed with the second meditation. Hopefully you are enjoying this, you are experiencing that peace and calm within yourself, which is the basic objective of this meditation. But we look forward to any questions you may have. Otherwise, we'll proceed. We'll wait for a couple more minutes.
There is a question. I am a beginner. How long should meditations be? 5 minutes, 10 minutes or more? Thank you.
That's a great question. It can be as long as you want. It's not sort of time bound. More is less, less is more. The thing is, it is the quality of the meditation really. If you feel that silence within you, that is what matters. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes maybe at the very beginning to maybe reach that state. So what one would suggest, and this is just a suggestion, is to go with what you feel is best. Once you reach that state of calmness, that peace, thoughtless awareness, if you will, there is more information about that on the website. It is in that state that you should continue to meditate. It's not when you reach that state that you should stop. In fact, when you reach that state, that is when you should continue to meditate. And as long as you are comfortable doing it, based on your available time, any other commitments you may have, so not to inconvenience yourself, but that is what it is. So it's not about how much at a bare minimum, it's how much of that experience you are able to get into. That should be the driver of how long you should meditate. Hopefully that helps. Initially, it will be a little not tough, but just because you're not used to it. Now you will see the second meditation that we'll do will actually make it much easier because we have been meditating for the past 15-20 minutes. So the second meditation will be easier. So likewise, if you meditate every day, and meditating every day is very important, getting into that state of meditation is much easier. I hope that helps.
There is one more question. I do feel the energy and peace. Does the meditation always include a clearing of your chakras and doing affirmations?
Yes, initially, yes, it does. Doing the affirmations is very important because those affirmations are essentially a verbal version, if you will, of your desire. So you want to experience the pure knowledge. You want to become your own master. You are asserting you are the spirit. So that is at that level of that desire, at a subtle level, you are enabling the flow of the energy from within, and its ascent through the energy centers. So yes, it is important to say the affirmations. A time will come, uh, sometime hopefully soon, when you may not have to actually move your hand and you can just work with your attention. But at the beginning, the affirmations are important.
There is a comment, very relaxing. And there is a question from another person. Any suggestions if someone starts to fall asleep?
Okay. Falling asleep. Okay. Hopefully, this is not the extreme form of relaxation. Certainly, falling asleep, there is, if you're actually falling asleep during meditation, then there is a way to sort of make sure that you remain alert, and watch yourself. That probably is the best way to make sure that you don't fall asleep, is that you are aware of what is happening within you. And if you continue to be aware of what's happening within you, the likelihood of falling asleep is very low. And we generally do not have that. But as we move maybe into the second part of this series, maybe after the next session, and we'll start all over again from explaining what causes some of the problems on some of the issues, or falling asleep, if it happens too often, there are ways to mitigate it. So we'll get to that at some other point in time, but for now one would just say, just watch yourself, it should be fine.
There is another question. While meditating, why do I get subtle thoughts?
Because that sixth energy center is not yet sort of fully open, if you will. Think about it like this, which is a kind of an aperture. At the moment, it's kind of just a little bit open. As it opens more and more, as more and more of the energy goes up, your thought processes will simmer down more and more. So it's at the beginning, sort of the beginning stages. That's what happens. As you go deeper into it, it will change. That's for sure. But that's a great question.
There is one more question.
And
sorry, go ahead, Ashish.
Go for it.
So one more question
was, can I find the videos you mentioned? YouTube yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think you should answer that better. Yeah.
Yes, so if you have RSVP'd for today's session, what I will do is I will send an email to everybody who RSVP'd with the link to the YouTube channel. And if you have not RSVP'd, you can just go to YouTube and type in Sahaja Online. You'll see our channel with our logo, and that way you can access that. Or contact us by responding to any email you have received, any reminder, any registration email, things like that. And we will send that to you. All right, looks like the questions are over.
Good. Thank you. Great questions. Keep them coming. But now let's get to the meditation again. So this time around, as you know, what we do is we just say 3 affirmations. So we will say the one for the fifth energy center, the fourth energy center, for the heart, for the spirit. Then we'll say the one for the sixth energy center, the Agnya Chakra, about forgiveness, and then the final one for the self-realization. So let us start again. And after that, once again, we'll play some music and continue to meditate. For now, let's place both our hands once again, palms facing upwards in our lap, eyes to be closed. Once again, just take a couple of deep breaths. Second meditation is usually much easier and deeper. So let's once again place our right hand on the heart. And we say the affirmation, I am the pure spirit. Let's try to say that 12 times very calmly. I am the pure spirit. And this time, as you say it, try to see if you can draw your attention inwards. I am the pure spirit. Now let's place our hand across our forehead, bend our head forward a bit, and we say affirmation 3 times. I forgive everyone, including myself. I forgive everyone, including myself. Finally, we place our right hand on our crown. Just bend our head forward a bit. As always, center of our palm exerts a little bit of pressure on our crown and start moving it in a clockwise fashion. Possible now, keep your attention at that point where the palm is touching the crown, and 7 times we'll say the affirmation to help the energy break through the seventh energy center. I want to experience my self realization. 7 times, very quietly, very strongly. I want to experience my self realization. Let us bring our hand down, place it in our lap, palm facing upwards. Keep our eyes closed. Attention on the crown of our head. If any thoughts are intruding, just say again, I forgive. Try to go back on the crown of our head. Once again, play some music. Try to see if you can feel a deeper state of meditation. We'll sit like this for a few minutes. Slowly open our eyes. Once again, let's feel if we can feel that energy. Keep your eyes closed and feel it if you want much better to focus. Try also with your left hand. Hopefully, this meditation, the second part of it, although slightly shorter, was deeper. Uh, Please do continue to meditate in your house whenever you find some time. Regularity is very important. Next week, we will cover the final energy center, and then we will start another round after that. So, after the next Friday, beyond that, as to how do these energy centers correlate or what causes problems with them, and how to maybe resolve some of those issues. So once again, we'll start that. But for the next Friday, we'll basically have a session on the seventh energy center. Get to know a little bit more. Please respond to the poll. As you know, we keep saying that. We're very sincere about it. We look forward to your comments and stay safe. See you next Friday, and happy meditating. Bye for now.